There's this piece of advice so many of us in the faith have lived by pretty much our entire lives. It sounds good, it feels loving, but what if it's the very thing that's quietly draining the life out of our spiritual authority? Let's get into that. We've all heard it 1,000 times, right? Be relatable, find some common ground, love people right where they are. The whole strategy for so much of modern ministry is really simple. You blend in to earn the right to be heard. But here's the question we have to ask. What if that very strategy, the one that's supposed to make you effective, is actually neutralizing your spiritual power? What if that's the real reason you're feeling kind of spiritually dry? Let's drill down on this. What if our whole idea of loving people has gotten tangled up and dangerously confused with becoming like people? And what if that one little mix-up is why the power of God feels so, well, absent in our day-to-day lives? See, there is a crucial distinction that most of us have completely missed. And I'm telling you, once you see it, it just changes everything. It brings this incredible clarity to so much of the confusion we feel. So let me just ask you, straight up, why do so many of us sound like the world, laugh at the same jokes, watch the same stuff, and basically live like the world, but then we turn around and get frustrated when God's power doesn't show up in our lives? The disconnect is so real, and the answer is hiding in this distinction we've missed. So here it is. This is the key. The whole problem really boils down to two words we throw around all the time, often like they mean the same thing. But in the Bible, they are treated very, very differently. And those two words are ministry and fellowship. Okay, now notice the specific word the Apostle Paul uses here. He doesn't say what interaction or what communication can light have with darkness. He's incredibly precise. He asks, what fellowship? That one word, that's the key that unlocks this whole thing. And this lays out the difference perfectly. Ministry, that's what you do for and to people. You should absolutely talk to unbelievers, work alongside them, serve them. That is the mission. But fellowship? Fellowship is totally different. That's about sharing a mindset, adopting the same values, thinking the same way they do. And that is where the Bible draws a very, very hard line. And here is the absolute crucial point. Fellowship is never a one-way street. It's always an exchange of influence. So when you try to have fellowship with the world, thinking you're the only one doing the influencing, you're mistaken. They are always influencing you right back. And this exchange, this two-way street of influence, that is exactly where the dangerous compromise begins. We're about to see how that well-meaning desire to love people can walk us right into a spiritual trap. Does any of this hit home? We think that to show love, we have to agree with everything they say, laugh at all the crude jokes, get into the same entertainment and culture, or maybe just lower our own standards a little bit, just to connect. We've all been there. We've all felt that pressure. But we have to be brutally honest and just call this what it is. That's not love. It's compromise. It's trying to get acceptance by giving away the very thing that makes you different. And look, there's a spiritual reality here that we just can't afford to ignore. The Bible talks about a spirit of disobedience that's at work in the world. So when you just casually adopt the world's sense of humor, or you start mirroring its thinking, or aligning with its values, you are opening a spiritual door. You're actually inviting that influence right into your own heart and mind. So then what happens? Well, we wonder why our prayer time feels so flat. We wonder why that conviction we used to feel has just faded away. We wonder why God feels like he's a million miles away. It's because we've willingly stepped into a spiritual exchange that grieves the Holy Spirit. All right, now we're going to get to the really hard truth of this. This is the direct result of confusing fellowship with ministry, and it's a pretty sobering reality to face. It's really a fundamental spiritual principle. You just cannot have fellowship with darkness and still expect to walk in the fullness of light. They are opposites. They cancel each other out. And this really gets to the heart of it. I mean, just think about that for a second. What's the only way a bright light can truly get along with total darkness? It has to dim itself. It has to lower its brightness to make the darkness feel comfortable. And the moment you dim your light, everything changes. You've just surrendered your position of influence. You're not leading anyone anywhere anymore. You're just blending. You've become spiritual camouflage. So, what does real, powerful, world-changing love actually look like then? Well, it's not about being arrogant or isolating ourselves. It's about understanding the incredible power of contrast. This right here,
This is the mindset of real, authentic love. It's a mindset that says, look, I love you. I care about you so deeply, and because I care about you so much, I refuse to become like you. I refuse to compromise the very thing that can bring you life and freedom.
And why is this so critical? Because people don't just need to hear us talk about God, they need to see the character of God. If you become just like them, you erase the very contrast that makes God visible. You become a blurry photo instead of a high-definition picture of a totally different way to live.
So here's the practical takeaway. Yes, absolutely 100% love people deeply. Minister to them, serve them, care for them with everything you've got. But at the exact same time, you have to fiercely guard your alignment with God. Don't adopt the world's mindset. Don't absorb its values. Don't mirror its culture.
Always remember this: the second you compromise your distinctiveness, you've just given away the one thing that people in darkness actually need from you. You lose your light. You lose your saltiness. You lose your spiritual authority.
And really, that's what this all comes down to, isn't it? Your calling was never to fit in, to be popular, or to blend into the background. You were called to stand out. You were called to expose the darkness, not by shouting at it, but simply by being authentically, unapologetically different, by just being light.